We know this year hasn't been good for deal makers, and particularly in certain pockets like banking, et cetera, here. Are you hearing or are you anticipating that we'll see material strength or at least a material improvement next year from where we are now?
Well, first of all, great to be with you again. And yes, I do expect material improvement. Now, it's from a low bar. I think for bank M&A, if they were able to say it was a tepid year, it would be a lot better than the actual this year, which was probably the lowest level of activity in 50 years.
Two of the biggest issues with M&A, if you're making a decision whether to pursue a deal, is how do you finance it, and are regulators going to sign off on it? Of those two aspects, and I know there are other aspects they have to consider well, but of those two, which do you think is going to be most important for folks to focus on next year?
Actually, although there has been a lot of focus on the regulatory aspects, and I would in no way diminish the importance of those aspects, I think the more critical issue is the question of how purchase accounting flows through when you're doing a bank transaction, because the rapidly accelerating interest rate environment until recently created major capital holes in a bank balance sheet if purchase accounting is applied, as it would be to any transaction. It will certainly mean that deals have to be in stock. Cash would be a very scarce commodity because of the further impact on regulatory capital ratios. If interest rates continue to decline, that problem will be alleviated. The bond portfolio will start to roll off. But absent an interest rate decline, this issue of purchase accounting remains the major obstacle.
When you say absent an interest rate decline, are you referring to a series of Federal Reserve interest rate cuts, or are just persistently lower bond yields sufficient?
I think it's the latter, but it's a great question. No matter what the Fed does, how many cuts, unless you get those long-term bond yields down, the purchase accounting hole will remain.